Hola amigos, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today this video is going to be a little bit of a whinge, and I hope it's going to make anybody who's struggling a little bit with their writing feel that little bit better. If you haven't been to my channel before, my name is Emma Bennet. I'm a UK-based writer of contemporary romance, Regency romance, we'll get into that, children's picture books and non-fiction for writers. I'm also a freelance developmental editor, a creative writing instructor and a book coach. So I do a lot of stuff. You'd think that I have some vague idea of how to write a book, but it turns out that I don't. So at the beginning of this year, I was very proud of myself because I set out monthly goals for the 12 months. And January, my goal was to finish the draft of my Christmas book, which I began in NaNoWriMo last year. And I managed that. I was really, really pleased with that. I think that book is coming along really nicely. However, then for February, the plan was to complete a first draft of my first Regency romance. So I started writing this manuscript for Camp NaNoWriMo last year, and the plan was to write 30,000 words, which I did. For a little bit of background, I have never written historical before. This is, though, something like my 13th or 14th book that I have written. Not all of those are out yet at the moment, but I've written a couple which are due to be published later this year. So you would think that I would know what I was doing by now, but I clearly didn't when I began writing this book in July. So I was aware that I'd never written a historical before. I didn't go into this completely blind, and I did feel that I did quite a lot of research in June. I had a lot of fun doing research. I've got some great videos which I will try to remember to link down in the description below, from me going to visit some gorgeous country houses, reading all the great Regency novels, watching Bridgerton. I mean, come on, my job is the best, yeah? I had a great time, and I learned an awful lot, and I already knew a lot. I do love history. It's what I did at university, and I love reading Jane Austen. I love the Regency period. It should all have been good, or so I thought. I'm guessing what happened in July is that I got a little bit overexcited, and as far as I can tell from this Google document, which I went back to at the beginning of the month, I started off quite sensibly, and I'm quite pleased with the first kind of 4 chapters. That is the proper beginning of the book. You know, we've got actual storyline, things are progressing, characters are being padded out. I'm fairly happy with that. And then it all just seemed to go to pot. It was like I don't know, maybe I'd had too much sugar or something like that, because I'm just writing random bits that don't really seem to connect. And it was a bit bonkers. And then I went to my notebook. So for each of my projects, I have a notebook, and I use this not only to kind of write out some scenes that come to me longhand, but also character profiles, and I will draw sketches of the insides of houses or villages if these things are important to the storyline. Just anything that could be handy to the story that I might need to reference basically goes in this. And it's as bad, if not worse, than the Google document. Honestly, this thing is a mess. And so I thought, okay, so I spent a couple of days at the beginning of the month kind of going through these two and wondering what happened. And I thought, okay, I need to step back, and I need to go back to my plot, my synopsis, whatever it was I was doing, and remind myself exactly what is supposed to happen here, because I know how it begins and I know how it ends, but all those bits in the middle are just very, very confused. So let's just stop, let's have a look and see. And it turns out that I have no plot. I did not do that. And that's something that I have done for my last maybe 10 books, something like that. I have made sure that I have a proper plot, synopsis, something like a breakdown of what is going to happen. Ideally kind of chapter by chapter. Sometimes I'm not all that great with that, but basically I know what's going to happen. And in this case, I do not. Yeah. So my only excuse is that my mind was telling me I need to write 30,000 words, and that's what I did. But as this is supposed to be a 70,000 word novel, having a random 30,000 words, many of which are disconnected, doesn't really help at this point. So it's the 23rd of February at the moment, and I have come to the decision that I have had enough of this manuscript and I'm getting nowhere. So it's like 3 and a bit weeks, and I have added all of about 3,000 words and have basically just got myself in a tiz about the whole thing and complained quite a lot. And so I have made the executive decision as, the boss of me, to set the manuscript aside again, because it seems to me that I am just wasting time at the moment. I don't seem to be able to move it forward or to bring it together for some reason. And I think I also have the fear that I'm not showing enough of the little kind of historical bits to really give a feel for the period. So I've decided to finish this month's goal, if you like, now, failed, incomplete, and to begin work on what I'm supposed to be doing for March. So March is going back to my contemporary romance, the Christmas one, and getting the next draft done of that, and then it should be ready to go off to my publishers. And that's something that I need to do because that book has been commissioned and it is due with my publishers, so I need to do that anyway. And I think that will actually make me feel better because I know what I'm doing with that book. I don't think it would take me a whole month to do the work that I need to on it. So maybe when I finish that, I'll come back to the Regency again for the remainder of March. I'm not sure at the moment. But yeah, as it stands, I'm just annoying myself and I'm not getting anywhere. One thing that I am going to do is go back to kind of trying to immerse myself in that period of history and learning more about writing a Regency romance, in the hope that it will all just kind of click together. So in particular, I'm going to be rereading Rapid Regency by Joel Allen. This is really, really useful kind of starter guide for someone wanting to write in the genre, and I found it really good when I read it last year. So I think that could do with a reread. But I'll also be watching Queen Charlotte because I haven't seen that yet, so that'll be lots of fun. I think that there does come a point where you are just flogging a dead horse, as they say, and it's time wasting. I could be doing a lot more with my time, and while I will come back to it, I think I do need to just leave it alone again now. Think about what I've done and give my brain time to kind of work out exactly what I'm going to do to fix this. My lovely friend Hananya and I were chatting about this issue yesterday, and she was absolutely brilliant. I will make sure that I link her YouTube channel down below, actually, because her videos are great. And she has written some historical stuff before, and she was giving me some ideas, and what she said is that, she thinks I need to kind of step back and do like a chapter by chapter or a scene by scene analysis of what's going to happen. And I definitely think I do need to do that. But at the moment, the mess is all still too raw and I'm not really dealing with it very well. So we're going to step back. We're going to do something that we enjoy. We're going to get, a few wins, and then we will go back to it, is the plan. The good thing about it, though, is that, like I said, I am pleased with the first few chapters, and I did send chapters 1 to 3 off to my beta readers to have a look at. So I haven't had all of that feedback yet. In particular, there is one historical writer who is looking at it, and she hasn't had a chance to get back to me yet, but I'm really looking forward to her feedback. And the feedback that I have got from those beta readers has been positive and really, really useful as well. One of them in particular gave me so many good pointers, which is fantastic. I'm quite good in that I do accept criticism well for things, and I know that some people can be a bit like, oh, it's my baby, of course there's nothing wrong with it, and you have to be so careful when you are giving them any pointers for their writing. But I'm not like that at all. I'm like, this may be a mess, I'm not sure, can you please tell me if it is? I really value your opinion. I'm so lucky because my beta readers are, many of them are fantastic writers in their field, and I love what they write, and I just value their opinion so much. So that's really good. So we know that the first few chapters are not terrible. It's just the whole rest of the book that we need to work on. So obviously, because I'm so behind with it, like I say, I've written about 3,000 words instead of the 40,000 that I was hoping to write. I don't really know where it's going to go in terms of when I'm going to be able to finish this draft now. I think I may just have to fit it in amongst my other commitments, which wasn't something that I wanted to do, because I did really want to be able to focus on it individually as something that's very different to what I'm used to doing. But needs must, and I'm just going to have to do what I can, and hope that when I do come back to it, it all falls into place a little better and that I'm feeling a bit more confident. So there we go. There's my update. Like I say, I really hope that it's made you feel a little bit better about yourself if there's something that isn't going right with your writing, because it happens. Some books seem to just come out so easily, and they almost write themselves, and it's a complete joy. And others, although we want to write them and we feel very strongly about the characters and the storyline and everything, they're just a real slog, and it doesn't come as easily. And this should also be a little lesson to you, that if you know how you work best, you should stick to that and not get overexcited and just throw yourself in when you know that that is not how you work. I really don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, it will all sort itself out. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have, please remember to boop that like button and subscribe if you're not already, because we have a lot of fun over here, and I will catch you in the next one.